Hi, my name is Nairi. This is Fly Little Birds. This is more of a family update video today, so if you like more chatty and informal, this video will be for you. I've got two adopted sons who we've had for a long time. They first started out as foster children, and I'm going to talk today about whether you find actually that the children that you care for are quite accident prone, because that is what we are finding with our older son more in particular, but our younger son also does seem to have hit more than his fair share of accidents. So when they first came, they were very neglected, and sorry, I just saw my cat there. They were very neglected. They did really struggle with balance issues. They seemed to walk into things a lot, and they were obviously struggling with normal development in walking and balance and that type of thing. But I felt like that was to be expected because of the high level of neglect. But over the years, I have noticed that this still is an issue. Suddenly my younger son will say, "Ow," and what have you done? He's like, "I've just walked into a door." Like, well, perhaps you should slow down a little bit, stop running around. But my older son, we've had several incidents where he seems to find that he trips over his own feet and loses balance and lose direction. I'm not sure whether this is because he's not concentrating on the thing in hand, as in the high level of anxiety around him causes that to happen, or whether it is more of a balance thing. But we have had the assessment done to check him out, and it was found to be that he doesn't really have balance issues, and that was done by an occupational therapist. So anyway, getting to the story last night, what happened. Now, Tim and I have always been the type to try to foster their independence as much as we possibly can. So I'm not worried about the children walking back in the dark from a club or something such like. Now, you may be different, but they are 13 and 14. And we are living in a very, very safe area, probably one of the safest areas in the country. So I'm not concerned about anything happening to them. Plus the fact he always walks back with a friend or more than one friend, and he knows the way, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so anyway, I was getting ready to settle down for the evening, and all of a sudden, my husband's like shrieking upstairs, "You need to get down here really quickly. He's hurt himself. There's blood everywhere." So I'm getting ready to ring the ambulance, obviously. I get down there, and yes, there is a lot of blood and just needed to stem the bleeding. As it was, you'll be pleased to know that the cut wasn't that deep and he was okay, and I managed to stop the bleeding quite quickly. But anyway, husband takes him out to A&E, and he has a bit of glue put on his head, and he's home today resting. But I said to him, "Well, how did you do that? Were you messing about with your friend, having a bit of like pushing around?" He went, "No." He said, "I just literally was busy talking," he said, "and I didn't see the curb, and I missed my footing, and I fell over." Of course, children do this, adults do this. I know that I've done it occasionally, but it just seems to be that with him it happens more than often. And well, I laughed about it, which I didn't mean it in a cruel way, but I said, "We need to call you the concrete injury guy, because it's happened on the tennis court where he's tripped over gravel. It's happened quite a few times. We've had a couple of times when somebody's brought him back home because he's bleeding because he's fallen over." So I just wondered if you have the same, if you notice the same with your children, if you're adopting or fostering, or you've come across children with childhood trauma, whether you notice that they are more accident prone, in the way that there's nothing specific that you can put your finger on it, but they seem to be more accident prone. Now, I know with my older son and my younger one, but my older one in particular, he's very, very hypervigilant. So I did wonder whether he's busy checking around, particularly if he's walking home in the dark. And to be honest, this is one of the reasons why we do persist that he does do things, because I think with the older one, his life would literally be in his bedroom if we let that happen. So he loves this club he goes to. He's got some good friends now. So walking home is kind of like trying to get him to realise that there's no more danger really walking home in the dark necessarily than there would be in the day. But he is hypervigilant, and I was wondering whether part of this could be that he is checking around behind him, checking what's going on rather than concentrating on what he's doing. And have definitely noticed that in different tasks, that if there are people around, or the chance that anybody could be looking at him, or there could be a chance in his mind of any danger or safety issues, then he's more interested in checking the perimeters than he is in looking at what he's doing. So that could have been why he fell off or missed the pavement. Anyway, he's resting today, and part of the gem of it for him is that the dog isn't normally allowed on the bed, but today I encouraged the dog to get on the bed with him, so he's had a nice cuddle. And my mum's dog's here, so she's been on the bed as well. So he's feeling loved up, but he's not feeling very well, and that's the story of the cut head from yesterday. My younger son is struggling again. If you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you'll know that the younger son has a lot of anger issues and friendship issues, and he's struggling again. And it seems to be that the last few days he's actually been wandering around school on his own, because he's fallen out with, it seems, the only friend that he was with. Now, for what I know of my son, there won't be just one side to the story. There is a chance that he would have kind of brought this upon himself, but I still don't like to think of him wandering around with no friends at school. And this will cause him huge issues, because obviously he doesn't want to go to school. And with my son at home today, which they recommended, and looking at him, I don't think he'll be going tomorrow. Then we're going to have a battle on our hands. And I've also noticed that he's becoming more absorbed by his phone again, which is what happens when he doesn't want to think about life in general. He uses the phone as a real prop, which again, I know a lot of us do, but I'm talking about the fact that he would never ever come off, when I think a lot of children would know when they're hungry, and that they would know that it would be fun to go out on the boat. So this is another story. We have a boat, yes, exciting. We live by a river. My husband's bought this, I think it's called a rip. I don't know. I just let him get it. And my son-in-law has a smaller one, and my husband decided to get one that lots of the family could get in. So 7 or 8 of us can go in this rip, okay? So, fine. I knew my younger son was going to say he didn't want to go. And I know it's A, because he's probably a little bit nervous, and he has been on it before without me, and B, because it's a Saturday and he wants to go on his phone when we're gone, or do what he wants to do. Have the freedom of the house, probably eat a load of snacks which aren't his to eat, because he's got a box of his own snacks, probably put the telly on for stuff I don't want him to see, blah 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 blah, because he said, how long are you going to be? And that's an indication that he's working out what he can get done when we're gone that I wouldn't maybe approve of, but that's okay. I mean, if he's going to be on his own, it's no big deal, you know, and he's old enough to be on his own. He's not looking after a younger child, it's fine. But I think he thought that his older brother was going to stay behind. And when he realised that his older brother had decided to come as well, because his older brother's been on the boat as well with my husband, so I was quite surprised when he said he wanted to come. I think he wanted to see how I was going to respond to the boat. I think he thought it was going to be quite funny, which is not very nice, is it? But he decided to come, and he quite likes being around me anyway. Then my son was like, oh, and he was trying to talk himself into it, and he was trying to talk himself out of it, and he talked himself out of it. But again, my guess would be is because the overriding feeling in his mind is, yes, I would like to be out with everybody on the boat and have that company, but I would much more rather go on my phone. And when you think about it, it was a beautiful sunny day. I had my grandchildren with me, which he gets on well with. He probably would have found it fun watching my reaction as well, but his push was to be losing himself on that phone, and that is a sign that he's not doing very well. However, we haven't really had any major anger outbursts for a while, because I have noticed my husband coming in much quicker and saying, if you speak to us like that again, if that happens again, you will lose that phone tomorrow. And that seems to be enough to kind of curb the meltdown. But I think we're going to get one soon. I don't want to jinx it, but I do think we're going to get one soon, unless the friendship restores itself. And I do think that the child that he is talking about has his own issues as well, unfortunately, but they're good, you know, they're good together. But yeah, unfortunately, I think that's the case as well. So that's him. So I think the channel's doing really well. I think the videos have been doing really well. I do appreciate my members, so thank you to Mary and Christine for being members. So if you're interested in the membership, please do have a look at that. I think that sometimes there's a balance to be had between a popular video that everybody's just going to click on and one that might be more informative for those of you who've been following me and been on the channel for like I think it's 3 years, and actually want a little bit more, a little bit deeper. So sometimes that's a bit of a struggle for me. I haven't been feeling brilliantly well lately. That's due to lots and lots of family issues, not really so much the boys, but lots of things going on. So sometimes it's a struggle to get myself in gear and think about what might be a really good subject matter. I'm always happy for suggestions, but just bear in mind that if it's really, really niche, then it probably won't get done because people probably won't watch it. I've been enjoying doing some AI art, which is artificially generated art. That's been great fun. I'm making some stuff for my other channel. Been really enjoying that. And I keep myself busy with hobbies so that I can de-stress. So if you are someone who has a lot of stress in the family because you've adopted children that have, for want of a better word, issues that need to be worked through, or difficulties, I strongly suggest finding yourself a craft, a hobby, an interest, whatever that might be. It could be your car, your garden, a craft. I strongly suggest something to do with your hands as well to de-stress. I found that to be a bit of a lifesaver that I can, you know, maybe pull away even for a short amount of time. Now I know that I have teenagers, so I'm able to do that probably more often, although you'd be surprised how much they need supervision, my two boys. So if you've got very young children, I appreciate that's not always going to be possible. Direct family matters. I have a new grandson who's 8 weeks old. He's doing really, really well. He's a really huge bouncy baby, so that's really, really good. And other grandchildren are also doing well, so that's also good. So I think that's the end of my family update. I hope you've enjoyed that video. Please subscribe if you haven't. Check out membership if you haven't. And I'll see you on Fly Little Bears. Thank you.